time on our side. We're in a state of hope. I need you on my fire. I want you to know that every time you're away, I long for you so much I can find my way.
Do you need an inverter for your RV? Hi, I am Larry with Downsizing Makes Sense. My wife, Alice, and I sold everything we owned 4 years ago to travel full-time in the RV all over the US and Canada. I bought my first RV 15 years ago. I had to drive from Central Florida to South Carolina to pick it up. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to have some quality time with my teenage son. We stopped for the night at a rest stop on the way back. He went to plug in his dead Game Boy, but of course, the plugs didn't work because we weren't plugged into shore power. Not happy. I thought, why don't these things have a way to power the outlets when you're not plugged into shore power? After that, I bought a small portable inverter that plugged into a cigarette lighter to power small devices like alarm clocks, electric toothbrushes, shavers, things like that. And of course, Game Boys. This was before every kid had a smartphone. Our next RV, a Winnebago Travato Class B, I installed a 2,000 watt inverter so that I could plug in my microwave, my coffee pot, and even my blow dryer. I had a lot more hair back then. When we decided to go full-time RVing 4 years ago in our Grand Design Solitude fifth wheel, I wanted a way to plug in anything I wanted, anytime I wanted, anywhere we wanted to camp. For that, we would need a whole RV inverter. What is an inverter? An inverter is a device that converts direct current from the RV batteries into household alternating current at 120 volts that the electrical grid uses. Why don't all RVs have an inverter to power household plugs from the RV's battery power? Good question, but they don't. Even now, in 2024, RVs that come with solar panels don't always come with an inverter. The solar panels just charge the direct current batteries, and that is all. We just bought a 2024 Grand Design Reflection fifth wheel that came with 370 watts of solar panels and a solar charge controller to convert the solar power into charging the 12-volt batteries, but no inverter was included. The RV did come with pre-installed wiring to add an inverter, but that would have to be added separately. Do you need an inverter in your RV? Every RV can use one. Camping with a whole RV inverter has obvious advantages when dry camping or boondocking and not connected to shore power. But even if you only camp at campgrounds that have full hookups, adding a whole RV inverter to your RV's power system has some big advantages. First, we can still use our RV like it's plugged in, wherever we are. Rest stops and quick overnight stays at Walmart or Cracker Barrel, or even moochstocking at a family or friend's house with a small 15 amp extension cord. Second, we use a 30 amp power pedestal like it's a 50 amp. I'll get into that later. Third, we can use a small portable generator to power both of our air conditioners. When you have an inverter and a battery bank, the generator is only used to replenish the batteries. Think of it like filling the battery bank back up. You only run the generator during the campground designated hours or during times that will not bother you or your neighbors. We have been at campgrounds where somebody cranks up their generator at 6:30 a.m. to power their coffee maker for 30 minutes. Don't be that guy. Fourth, we reduce the chance of popping 30 amp breakers at an RV park because we are able to set the inverter to limit the number of amps it's pulling from the pedestal to 25 amps. This way, we rarely overload the pedestal. Those 30 amp breakers are never able to actually handle 30 amps. 5. A whole RV inverter charger system like we have automatically takes over when there is a power outage. We usually never even know when the campground loses power, which happens a lot, especially at Thousand Trails. TT people, you know what I'm talking about. Now, how does our Victron Multiplus 2 whole RV inverter charger do all this? The inverter is connected between the RV shore power plug and the RV breaker panel. The Victron Multiplus inverters have a hybrid mode, which takes the power coming from the power pedestal and adds power from the batteries to assist in delivering excess power your RV is demanding that the power pedestal cannot deliver on its own. Let's say we are connected to a 30 amp plug at an RV park. We set our Multiplus inverter to only take 25 amps from the pedestal, and it can deliver another 20 amps from the batteries. Now we have access to 45 amps of power instead of just 30. And now we can comfortably use 2 air conditioners for a short period of time to cool down the RV. How long can you run 2 ACs on a 30 amp? Depends on how big your battery bank is. But the biggest reason to get a whole RV inverter along with a big battery bank is to increase the chances you have to camp, where and when you want to camp. Boondocking, anywhere from boondockers welcome sites to the middle of the Arizona desert. Dry camping at campgrounds that do not offer electrical sites, like lots of recreation.gov sites. They are awesome. Dry camping at campgrounds where all the electric sites are taken, but offer some non-electric sites. And sometimes something is better than nothing. Even in very popular areas, at the height of the season, we can usually find one non-electric site that nobody else wants. Like we just booked Memorial Day weekend at a very popular area. All the electric sites were booked months ago, but there were a couple of non-electric sites left. And many times the non-electric sites are in better locations in the campground, less crowded, less worn out, and more natural because they didn't have to clear as much. The reason I have not even mentioned solar panels at this point is because you do not need solar panels to enjoy all of these benefits. If you are headed to a campground with shore power, your batteries will automatically recharge when you hook up. If you are dry camping for extended periods, you can use a very small, quiet generator like our Honda 2200 to recharge the batteries when necessary. A whole RV inverter matched with lithium ion battery bank is much more important than solar panels. Solar panels are a good, quiet, environmentally conscious way to recharge your batteries when not connected to shore power. Not everyone will benefit from solar panels on the roof, but everyone can benefit from a whole RV inverter and lithium ion battery bank. I like to say that my RV has an enhanced electrical system with hybrid power. There are so many advantages to a system like ours. Wherever we camp like we're on 50 amp. Air conditioning is the big exception. First, your air conditioners need to have a soft start, a device that makes the air conditioners start up slowly so it does not overload the inverter. Each air conditioner has to have one. It is possible to power multiple air conditioners with multiple inverters on a massive battery bank with a roof completely covered in solar panels, but that is very costly and very heavy. Most modest battery banks can power one air conditioner for a couple of hours, but that is not the system's purpose. After a hot day, sometimes we run one AC for a while to cool off the RV, using the inverter and the battery bank. Now, what is a whole RV hybrid inverter charger, and how is it different than other inverters? Victron Multiplus series of inverters are designed to take the power from the shore and deliver the power to the entire breaker panel of the RV, not just a few breakers. In addition to powering the RV's 120 volt alternating current system, it also serves as a charger to the direct current battery bank when connected to shore power. The Multiplus One 3000 watt inverter is designed to connect to a 30 amp RV wiring. 3 wires from shore power to the inverter, and 3 wires from the inverter back to the breaker panel. The Multiplus 2 3000 watt inverter is designed for a 50 amp RV wiring. 4 wires from the shore power to the inverter, and 4 wires from the inverter to the RV breaker panel. The size of the battery bank is determined by your budget, how much energy you use, and how much space you have for the batteries, and how much weight your RV can handle. That is an entire video on its own, but I would say that most RVers would be fine with 400 amp hours to 800 amp hours of batteries. When we bought our 400 amp hours of battle-worn batteries 4 years ago, it cost $3,600. But now there are lots of options for half of that cost. I would never own another RV without a whole RV inverter, and a lithium battery bank again. It has changed the way we are able to camp and has opened up many more places to camp. Do you have an inverter in your RV? Does it power the entire RV or just a couple of plugs or a few breakers? Please share your experience down in the comments section below. If you have any questions, please leave them here or on our Facebook or Instagram. I'm going to be doing more videos on our solar inverter system, including my DIY installation. If you don't want to miss those episodes, please subscribe and get notified below. I will also leave a link to a solar system playlist right over here. And remember, downsizing does make sense.